Yesterday he longed for you more than ever before. It is not merely a statement of emotion. It is a deeper revelation of the human soul in its eternal dance with longing, connection, and self-awareness. When you hear these words, do not simply interpret them as a reflection of one person's desire or yearning. The longing mentioned here is not limited to the individual, but rather reflects something universal and ancient within all human beings. It is the cry of the heart that seeks completeness, the thirst for union, and the desire to transcend isolation. At its most base level, this longing appears as a simple human emotion, the ache of missing someone, the pull toward their presence, the restlessness that comes from physical or emotional distance. It manifests in the body as a tightness in the chest, a distraction of the mind, an inability to focus on anything but the memory of the other. This is the surface level, the obvious interpretation that anyone might grasp upon first hearing such words. He missed you. He wanted to see you. He felt your absence more acutely than he had on previous days. This is real, tangible, and undeniable. The human heart does not deceive us when it tells us we long for another's company. Yet beneath this base understanding lies a secret truth, the one that the soul whispers, but the conscious mind rarely hears clearly. This longing transcends the individual and points to something much deeper, something that has driven human beings since the beginning of consciousness itself. It speaks to the innate human need for connection, both with others and with the self. It reflects a profound psychological and spiritual journey that each soul must take, a journey toward integration, wholeness, and self-realization. Yesterday he longed for you more than ever before because, on some level that perhaps even he could not articulate, he was yearning for something beyond just the physical presence of another person. He was seeking what Carl Jung would describe as the union of opposites within himself. Jung spoke of the anima and animus, the unconscious feminine and masculine principles within every individual. These elements are often projected onto others, especially in relationships, because we long for the qualities we either lack or have yet to fully integrate. When he longed for you, it wasn't merely about you as a person separate from himself, but about a part of himself that he was calling forth through the connection with you. It is the unconscious desire for wholeness, the yearning to reconcile the inner dualities that exist within him. The anima in him, the feminine aspect of his psyche, reached out to you not only as a woman, but as a symbol of his own deeper soul's yearning. You became, in that moment of intense longing, a mirror reflecting back to him the parts of himself he has not yet fully recognized or integrated. This longing, at its core, speaks to the spiritual principle of unity and oneness. We, as human beings, are fragments of a greater whole, separated by the illusion of duality. In our daily lives, we forget this fundamental truth, that at the deepest level of our being, we are not separate. We are all part of one universal consciousness, an eternal presence that transcends time, space, and form. When he longed for you, what he was truly yearning for was that eternal unity. He was yearning for that moment of reunion, not just between two souls, but within his own being. The longing he felt for you more than ever before is an expression of the call to return to the divine, to merge the conscious and unconscious, the masculine and the feminine, and to achieve the harmony that is his birthright as a spiritual being. But on a psychological level, this longing is not merely about the pursuit of union with another person. It is also about the inner journey of individuation. Carl Jung's concept of individuation is the process by which a person integrates the different parts of their unconscious into conscious awareness. It is the psychological journey towards becoming one's true self, beyond the roles we play in life, beyond the masks we wear for society, beyond the identities we construct to protect ourselves from vulnerability. When he longed for you, he was longing for his own process of integration. You became a mirror for him, reflecting not just who he is in the moment, but who he could become. The fullest version of himself, integrating the shadows, the repressed parts, the forgotten aspects of his soul. You see, Jung believed that the unconscious is not just a repository of repressed thoughts and emotions, but also a realm of hidden wisdom, creativity, and potential. Every encounter, every relationship is a mirror that reveals parts of the self that we may have ignored or denied. When he longed for you, it wasn't just a romantic or emotional desire. It was a recognition of the unconscious parts of himself that you embodied, the parts that had been forgotten or suppressed. In longing for you, he was, in a sense, longing for his own unconscious to be brought to the surface, examined, accepted, and finally integrated into his whole being. This longing is also a deep psychological need to be understood, to be seen, and to be known. In many ways, our relationships with others act as mirrors, reflecting back to us the parts of ourselves that we may not fully recognize. Jung argued that the process of individuation often involves facing the shadow, the parts of ourselves that we reject or hide from. These shadow elements are not inherently negative. They simply represent the aspects of our personality that we have yet to integrate into our consciousness. When he longed for you, he was, in a sense, confronting his own shadow. It is not that he wanted you to fix him, but rather that he was seeking recognition, understanding, and validation from the deeper parts of his soul that had not yet been acknowledged. From a spiritual perspective, the longing you feel is not just a human emotion. It is a reflection of the soul's deeper yearning for union with the divine. This longing transcends the individual and speaks to the universal desire to return to the source, to reconnect with that which is eternal and beyond the ego. In many spiritual traditions, including Sufism, the longing for another person is often viewed as a mirror of the soul's desire for reunion with the divine. In Sufi teachings, the beloved symbolizes the divine, and the longing for the beloved is actually the longing for the Creator. When he longed for you more than ever before, it was not just about you as an individual, but a deeper, unconscious yearning for that connection to the divine that binds all beings. This longing is sacred because it reflects the divine within all of us. Each soul, throughout its journey, carries a desire not for external validation or material fulfillment, but for the reunion with its true essence. It is a deep yearning for transcendence, for understanding that there is something greater than the self. The longing felt is not just about connection to another person, but about a deeper recognition of a shared essence, the eternal truth that binds all of existence together. When he longed for you, it was as if he was unknowingly reaching for this divine connection, not just with you, but with the eternal, universal presence that is at the core of all beings. In moments like these, the soul's desire for unity emerges, and what we see is a reflection of this larger spiritual quest. It is not just about a relationship between two people. It is about the greater desire for wholeness. When he longed for you, he was expressing this sacred desire for reunion, not only between two individuals, but between the human and the divine, the conscious and unconscious aspects of the self. This is what spiritual traditions refer to as integration, the coming together of the fragmented parts of the soul, the reunion of all aspects of the self into wholeness. Psychologically speaking, Carl Jung would describe this as the process of individuation, the journey of integrating the unconscious with the conscious mind, the reconciling of opposites. The longing for another often reflects this deeper process, where we project parts of ourselves onto others. What he longed for in you, perhaps unknowingly, was not just your presence, but the unconscious aspects of his own soul. You may have been a mirror for him, a reflection of the parts of himself he had yet to embrace or fully understand. This longing is a reminder that all relationships are reflections of our inner journey. Every encounter, every connection, reflects a part of our soul's evolution. The longing you experience is not just for another person, but for integration, healing, and understanding. It is the soul's call to recognize its deeper essence and return to the divine. When he longed for you more than ever before, it was a sacred moment of the soul's yearning for reunion, both with itself and with the divine essence that is within us all. In this longing, there is an invitation to see beyond the surface of relationships and understand them as mirrors of our spiritual and psychological growth.